elbow.
Let me get you.
All right, welcome everybody. If you guys heard Jose, he just hurt his elbow.
That was a nice little pop.
Now he's going on the IR with the rest of the 49ers. So
Nah, I'm not soft.
Oh, man. Excuse me. All right. Well, let's talk about it. Last night, the 49ers, it was ugly. Their B team. It was preseason, whatever you want to call it. Final score
team?
was...
That was
B
the
team.
L team. That was the Q team.
It was basically a 34-3 game. If you want to look at those two touchdowns at the end, go ahead. That's up to you. You could judge it how you want. For me, covering the team, I don't really like that because then when you look at a full season spectrum, you go, oh, 49ers scored 17 this game. It just ruins all the balancing when you're covering a team based on a points per game spectrum. So with that being said, should this game have even been played last night? Whoever wants to start.
Grant.
Hell no. Hell no. Absolutely not. It was a travesty. If the NFL cared at all about its product, like the integrity of their sport and the quality of their product, they would have pushed that game back. But they don't. I mean, I think they probably would have cost them some money to not have a game in the Thursday night slot. So they were like, sorry, Niners, take one for the team. Your problem. You ever see Boogie Nights? It's like, oh, that's a YP, not an MP.
Yeah,
that is a
right.
YP. Good luck. That's your problem. It stunk that we even had to watch it. And I'm sure most Niner fans kind of just tuned out mid-second half, but I didn't get that luxury, which stunk.
I mean, I think it becomes even more of a frustration when you find out that a Packer who was involved in the game last night tested positive as well. And then you find out that Kendrick Bourne's false positives cost us, Ayuk and all these guys as well too. So, as frustrated as we were yesterday, when all this news comes out today, it's got to make you more frustrated. And yeah, at the end of the day, the almighty dollar is, the NFL's number one priority, and we shouldn't be surprised that it is. So, like, I love professional football. I can't stand the NFL as an organization. And, please give me a job, if you guys want down the line. But, I mean, you have to admit that this was handled wrong, man. It just was. Like, it's like, the NFL had, a bit of wiggle room when it came to what happened with the Patriots and the Chiefs and everything, right? We get that, but it's like, man, you're the NFL, right? If you tell us, hey, you know what, we're gonna switch this around to whatever day. Like, if you're worried about ratings, there was a Tuesday night football game that had all the ratings in the world. It's like, man, like, come on, man, like that's such a cop out. So yeah, the NFL doesn't care. They wanted to make sure they got that extra money for their Thursday deal because they have Amazon, as part of their partnership on Thursday night football and all that. So yeah, we shouldn't be surprised that the NFL has put money over player safety as they've done their entire this long sample size of the entirety of the NFL's existence, pretty much.
Well, pretty much, I think Grant Cohn needs to petition the NFL to reimburse him on gas money because that drive from Oakland to Santa Clara is not really a very convenient one.
No.
So, I mean,
45 miles.
Yeah, come on. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty.
It's
that's
40
pretty
miles,
bad.
and so it's there and back is 80.
And you got the bridge
$15.
And the bridge toll, what is this, like $6 now? So come on, you owe this guy $6 and some nice little handful of change here. Well, I mean, I was just watching this game like if I wasn't like already like 2 cups deep in coffee, I'd probably fall asleep because it's like, especially once I found out Aaron Jones, like I thought the 49ers had like a puncher's chance, but once Aaron Jones gets in that game, it's like, all right, now they're really not going to win. And then you just got Devontae Adams taking off, which, Mosley was playing fine, but yeah, this game should not have happened for the exact same points that everyone has said. But I just don't see why they wouldn't have just moved it over. Leo, you said it perfectly, and I think that's going to be your answer, too, about why, because the Packers had their bye. But no, of course not. This game should have happened. That was a waste of my time. That was a 4th preseason game. 4th preseason games are better than that, actually.
It feels like the NFL beat the Niners last night as much as the Packers did. That's so it's unfair. I mean, the Niners are the NFC championship game. The Niners are the NFC champions. They deserved a little more respect than that. Right?
Yeah, right. And then especially a game where you want the Packers and 49ers to be as close to full strength as possible for you so you can have a better product itself, right? Like, this is a rivalry right here. Like this is, and think about the way this rivalry is now because I don't know if you guys knew. Did you guys know that Aaron Rodgers was from California and that the 49ers didn't draft him? Yo, I found out last night. I was so shocked. Yeah, I couldn't believe that, honestly. I had no idea. So that adds a little bit of juice to this, too. It's just like the NFL really doesn't care about their product at this point, right? It's all about just trying to make sure that this goes on and get the game in and everything. And it's just evident. Like, there's no – I don't care what statement comes out of the NFL from now on. It's wrong. and they're not going to say the right thing. So.
Agreed.
You know, I feel like these guys have kind of mismanaged the way they're doing this COVID thing too. And it starts like even back when the whole Raiders offensive line got COVID or were all high risk. And they just said, you know what? You guys don't practice, but you can still play. So I feel like when the Titans and that came down and they did that rescheduling, I feel like they didn't like that internally, even though it was the right call. But internally, I don't think that was the right one. What you got, Leo?
They should have gave the 49ers that Raiders pick for making the 49ers play last night. Because the NFL took away a 6th-round pick, I believe, from the Raiders. They should give that to the 49ers, say, hey,
here you go.
We made you guys play. Here goes a 6th-round pick from Las Vegas, Oakland, Los Angeles Raiders. But what I see is, besides the revenue part of the NFL making the 49ers play, is they looked at, okay, we could either play this today or, say, Thursday. We could either play this on Thursday or we could give it 4 weeks. What is it going to matter? They're going to be without Nick Bosa. They're going to be without George Kittle. They're going to be without Jimmy Garoppolo, regardless if we play this on a Thursday or if we play this 4 weeks from now. So the NFL said, hey, we're just going to make them suck it up and play because they're not getting their superstar players back. If you want to call Jimmy, I don't know, but he's the quarterback. But they're not going to get their main players back anytime soon. So if they're not getting these guys back within the next 2 weeks, within a week, within 3 weeks even, why are we going to go ahead and reschedule this when Green Bay already had their bye? Now we're giving ourselves a bigger headache. The 49ers are already dealing with the headache with all the injuries. So let them keep the headache. We don't need to throw that onto ourselves. A question was asked, would Trent Williams made a difference? Absolutely, because Justin School didn't even look like if he went to the SEC, looks maybe like he came from the Mountain West. It was pretty bad from what I saw. And it doesn't help when you have a bunch of Tom Comptons on that offensive line.
Hey, don't
Thank you for
disrespect
saying
the
that.
Mountain West.
And the
Tyler
actual
Irvin was
Tom
out there.
Compton on the line. My goodness.
No, but that's what I looked and I'm like, oh my God, you know, like I'm seeing stuff again. I was like, is that? And it is. It was Tom Compton who was starting. I look, listen, in a short week, right? In a short week, I understand that Grasu struggled against Seattle. I get that, right? For everybody who was wondering why Grasu wasn't out there, it was performance-based, right? Yeah. Because they were sending a house at him and he didn't perform well. Okay, cool. Right. But do you feel like this is the week to do that in a short week with everything going on and then bringing school out? Like, that didn't seem fair. How many times did you see Justin School chasing his defender, the guy who was trying to, like, he's already behind him and he's running behind him? Like, dude, that's not how this works. You have to stop him first and then, like, work back. Like, oh God, man! When I saw Tom Compton, you had to know things were going wrong right off the bat.
And it just reminded me too.
Not just that. Tom Compton on the field, no use check on the field. River Craycraft on 11 personnel to start the game. They were screwed. They had no chance. I was like, what is this?
I didn't understand why they didn't have Kevin White out there more than River Craycraft.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Kyle Shanahan's really good. Okay, and when he's on, he's like Bill Walsh Jr. But when he's off, we see last night. Yeah. He has these little off games where it's like, did you even try this week? And I think he'll try next week. I think he'll be great next week. But that's like disengaged, careless Kyle. That's what that was. As much as anyone, he really stunk. He was like the Justin School of coaches last night.
I need this on a shirt, straight out of Tom Compton.
Tom Compton's. Hey, but once I saw Justin School was out there straight whiffing the entire time, it just like it took me a minute to realize like when's the last time Justin School played? Because I was thinking School usually played pretty well last year. Then I thought, oh wait, the last game he played was against Green Bay when he got pulled, and I was like, oh wait, there's kryptonite. So it makes sense that he was getting completely dogged the whole night. I'm surprised Shanahan didn't think about it. Hey, one of the last times we played these guys, School was out there, and I literally made a guy who's never played left tackle before play left tackle. So I don't know what didn't comprehend in his mind about, hey, I need help here. But then you also said, Grasu can't play because they overloaded us on blitz. I mean, Kyle Shanahan's in his presser on Sunday. Hey, coach, it starts with me. But it starts with you, so why are you benching Grasu as if it's his fault for why the pressure got there on Sunday against the Seahawks? Why not just keep it there steady on a short week when you know you have a team that actually has a pass rush? I don't know.
Also, you switch up 60% of your offensive line. You go to your backup quarterback. You have your third, fourth, fifth, sixth string wide receivers, whatever. And you don't get to your screen game until you're down 4 touchdowns in the third quarter. That's not in your script. You don't have any of the shovel passes, the end arounds. Don't tell me that Richie James Jr. can't do that stuff. He's a punt returner. He's like, of course he can do that. He returns kicks.
They ran one of them too at one point, so that pretty much proved like, hey, look, he was capable of it. Just the blocks weren't getting out there.
I mean, Kyle
What?
Shanahan does such a good job of babying Jimmy Garoppolo, or whatever you want to call it. Like helping Jimmy Garoppolo. Hey, just throw the ball, throw a screen, throw a shovel pass. It's easy. Like with Nick, it's like, hey man, you're on your own, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. You got to throw the River Craycraft. We're gonna need you to throw downfield the River.
That was a nice throw in the corner, though.
It was.
That's
what I was gonna say. So on that drive, two great Nick Mullins throws, right? The dig, back to sitting in the pocket with protection, actually sat there and threw a great dig route to Richie James, and then no, don't start that. But and then that Craycraft throw was a dime. It was a dime, man, and it's just like, and then like at least one thing that we learned yesterday is that Richie James, get Trent Taylor out of here. Can we get Richie James in Trent Taylor's spot?
Like 10 minutes talking about this right now because it burns me up. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, like, so I think that people don't understand what I'm trying to say on Twitter, and people get like crazy when I say that Richie James needs to see the field. Oh, who's he seeing the field over? Well, if you're giving 20 snaps to Trent Taylor or 15 snaps, give him to Richie James. That's what I mean. I'm not talking about him starting opposite Debo or Ayuk. I'm talking about if you're gonna put someone as useless as Trent Taylor out there, why not put somebody out there who actually has big playability and can move with the ball in his hand and run block?
And who's to say he can't split time with Kendrick Bourne? Kendrick Bourne does really nice things. He's great on third down and in the red zone, but on first down and second down, there's so much more you can do with Richie James. He's so much more explosive and versatile, and he really fits the Niners offense of like gadget stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of a gadget offense a lot of the time, and Bourne is kind of just like, a possession receiver. So Richie James, get him the ball. He's fantastic. Yeah. He's really explosive.
And 95, he was injured, right? Like it was a 50-50 chance Kyle said that he was going to play. Didn't look like it to me. He almost went for 200. I don't care what garbage time, whatever. I don't want to hear that. That's Richie James that went for 200. That's not, that's impressive.
That's what makes me nuts about Kyle Shanahan. It's like, why his personnel decisions this year is a big reason why these guys have lost at least a couple of these games. Like, what are you doing? Richie James, you just expose yourself by letting him plug in, and you just can't say, oh, I just put him in because those are Ayuk's plays. All right. He did numbers that I'm pretty sure Ayuk would have done the same thing. So you mean to tell me you couldn't have had him play the whole time, that you were trying to get Dante in there, that you're trying to get Trent Taylor in there for empty snaps? I mean, there's no explaining it. This is, once again, it takes me back to Kyle confuses the hell out of me. Like what is your thought process in this? The favorites has just got to stop.
So watching Richie James yesterday, he did look 75%. I didn't see the same explosion from him yesterday as I saw last season. It seemed like he had more explosion last season.
Rounded out.
So that's telling me this dude was 75% and he still put up 183 yards. Okay, why is he not playing over Trent Taylor? And that's the question. It's why is he not getting in the mix? I don't know. Maybe because Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to risk his only kick returner that could get past the 25-yard line. Maybe. Because it's not it with McKinnon back there.
Period.
Absolutely. It's Trent Taylor is also Jimmy Garoppolo's guy. He's part of the George Kittle mix as well. So you got to take that into the equation.
Yeah, there's clicks, right?
Beathard.
Right, there's clicks, yeah. Right? Like you're like in high school, right? The jocks and the nerds and everything, right? If you're in the circle, it doesn't matter what you do wrong, you're gonna get right back on the field, right? So like it's crazy to me. Like one person makes a mistake and now you're banished to the phantom zone. One person makes a mistake and you run them right back out there. Like it's got to be across the board the same way. If you're gonna knock a guy for not getting open or dropping a pass or not running the right route, and putting him in the doghouse, put everybody in the doghouse then at this point. It sets a bad
Dante
example.
Pettis wasn't in the clique. He was in the doghouse. And the thing real quick, I don't understand why Trent Taylor's still in the clique. This is what I see from Trent Taylor. I wish I could do an impression of my full body, but it's just he just does stutter steps. He gets off the line and goes nowhere.
You gotta shuffle your arms. Shuffle your arms. That's what he's got to.
He doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't get open, and there's no timing. Like, how do you actually throw him the ball when he's just?
You have it, Leo. Do it, Leo. I want to see.
There it is. Grant did it.
Do it. Leo, do it too.
You know
what he looks like?
I'm gonna go top of my route.
Yeah, that's what he does. He doesn't go anywhere. Oh,
he looks like in a Mexican celebration when they got the maracas going and stuff like that. Just like when I see him doing that, I'm like, oh, Trent, let me go out there. Let me put my sombrero on. Let's go, man. Come on, let's go.
Have you noticed that they haven't sent McGlinchey to the podium since I made fun of him?
Is he still here? Is he still here though?
They do not send him to the podium anymore. They're like, Mike, they don't want to hear from you.
Is he? I just want to know if he's still here. Is he still here?
He's only let us know with that hold yesterday. I was like, okay, he's there. He's there.
As
He also
soon
let
as
us
he
know
does
when he
the
got on
thing-
his ass again. I saw that. Anyone see that?
Yeah,
Dude,
there it is.
again, the tackles, all they're doing is like the guys breezing by them, and then all you see is, oh, come back. I'm
Yeah,
just like,
it's too
what are
late,
you
man.
doing?
Wait, you're gonna get a holding penalty on top of it. It's not gonna work, buddy.
Dude, just
Yeah.
tackle him at this point, right? Like,
Dude,
what's
when
going on?
McGlinchey, Mike McGlinchey's song of the year is "Baby Come Back," an ode of Joe Staley, and the pass rusher he just let by him. Baby, come back! Please come in front of us. I can block you. That is Mike McGlinchey's song of the year. Baby, come back.
Mike. And the thing is that Justin School actually made Mike McGlinchey look good. That's the bad thing.
What is it? How
Yes.
many? 7? What is it? Seven pressures? Oh my God, Javi! Javi's not letting that go, man. You guys are wild with that.
They call the fight.
Grant,
I
if you
think
need
they're good.
context, we'll give it to you later. But Javi's not stopping, bro. He's not. No. Here's the thing. Like, damn it, I lost what I was gonna say because Javi. Whatever, take it away. Go again. Somebody else go.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to
We
say,
just went on a roast session. That's what we
yeah.
did.
As far as like backups are backups, we get it. I don't want to knock them too much. It is what it is, as Jimmy Garoppolo would say. But
No, he would say it's one of those is what it is situations.
okay,
Oh,
there
yeah.
we go. It's Shanahan says he knows what Garoppolo is at this point, right? He says, I know what he could bring to the table. That's what he said 2 days ago. And
Interesting thing to say, too.
And I'm sure if he knows that about Jimmy, he knows that about Tom Compton. So if you know that about Tom Compton, why is he getting the start over Colton McKivitz? You just invested a 5th-round pick on him compared to a guy you just had to lower his salary for to just be on the 53-man roster. So why is Colton McKivitz not in the game? See what he can give you. Maybe he's an upgrade over Daniel Brunskill moving forward. You got to learn. This is the moment you got to learn what you have on your roster as far as the guys that you have under contract next season, considering there are so many free agents moving forward.
Especially towards the end, right? When it's like the game's already out of reach, but McKinnon's still getting all these carries. Let Hasty get some, man. I mean, at that point, I think Shanahan was like, no, I'm dead set serious. We need to score it. I can't do it. Like, why did Hasty get 12 carries against Seattle, but only 4 of this game? Like, it was kind of beyond way bizarre for me.
No, here's the 2 things that I'm harping on with Kyle Shanahan that I don't like. I don't like that when Deebo Samuel's not in the game that they just give up on all the gadget plays. I don't like that. Richie James can do it. Brandon Ayuk can do it. You don't have to line him up at running back, but you can't give up on that part of your offense because it's what makes your offense good. And the other thing that makes your offense good is Kyle freaking Juszczyk. It kills me that like Shanahan will do it for like a game or 2, and then like there'll be a game where he just gets one touch for no reason. Like he's just out. He's not part of the game plan. But River Craycraft is. The thing about Kyle Juszczyk is he's really important as a blocker, but that's all he does. My impression of Kyle Juszczyk is just shifting. He goes from left to right. He goes from right to left. And that's all he does. He's gotten 118 touches in his career with the Niners. That's ridiculous.
My thing is too is this, and to piggyback off of what Grant just said, right? Okay, so you're calling up River Craycraft, who we haven't even seen, right? You're calling up Kevin White, right? Where is you using the people that have actually been in this offense? Ross Dwelly, Richie James, any of these guys, Juszczyk. Juszczyk is a former. Did you guys know that Juszczyk was a former tight end? I found that out last night too. It's like, dude, why are you not splitting him out wide and doing these same things? See, like, I don't know why I was good yesterday. Like, I was fine with it. Now I'm mad today now, all of a sudden. But it's like, dude, Ross Dwelly knows the offense. Kyle Juszczyk knows the offense. River Craycraft just got here, and he looked like me. I'm River Craycraft at home. Like, you know how they say, can we get McDonald's? We got McDonald's at home. I'm River Craycraft at home, bro. Like, that's
Yes.
I don't understand why you are not trusting the guys that have been in this offense. And if Nick Mullins throws the tight end so much, why are you not splitting out Houston and Dwelly on this? Like, I'm starting to get mad again, and I thought I was good. Like, you guys are like pushing me to this place again. It just gets me mad about the personnel decisions. That's it, man.
And the thing about Kyle is we see him do it right. Like the game plan against the Rams was perfect. The game plan against the Patriots was perfect. And then he does this 2 weeks later. He's like, he's too good to be this inconsistent. Right. He's way too good to have a dud like this. But again, I expect him to kind of be on his A game next week against the Saints. I think with Richie James now establishing himself and playing so well that Kyle Shanahan almost can't bench him. And the other guys coming back.
Maybe Deebo Mostert.
Yeah, Deebo Mostert, Ayuk, Richie James. That's a lot of firepower, even without George Kittle.
Jordan Reed ramped up.
Because Kyle even said today, like, look, we weren't going to play him much. He only had a couple of walkthroughs. It wouldn't have been fair.
Yeah.
All right, next week you better play then. So next week
Leo,
they could actually put up some points. I don't know if they'll stop anyone. That defense.
What's up?
I want to circle back to Kyle Shanahan. I want to ask Leo this. Like, you think the reason why Kyle Shanahan puts in all those like nobodies in there just so when they do good, he can be like, yeah, I did that. It's my system. You think maybe just a little flex thing? Because it feels like it's the same thing when same thing with his personnel decisions when they make it, and then when he actually enacts it. Like, I feel like that's kind of the case. Am I on point somewhere like that,
No,
Leo? Or?
you are. I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he is.
Yeah, and I think a little bit is like those guys are also in his doghouse. You're either a Shanahan guy or you're not. So he's just trying out these new guys, see if they are a Shanahan guy, because he loses trust very easily. And when you lose Kyle's trust, you're done. You're done. He doesn't want to give you a chance. He knows you're good enough to be on the roster, but does he want to put you in that position? He doesn't. And like Grant said, it's not that we're trying to bash Kyle. No, he's a hell of a coach, so we hold him to that standard. It's
Exactly.
like Mahomes going out there throwing for 150, no touchdowns and 2 picks.
Right.
Everyone's going to hold him to that standard, and that's the thing with Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Yeah,
too
stops
good.
it from himself.
We
He
expect
stops it
more.
from himself.
He's too good.
With that
Yeah.
defense, look at how bad that defense was. Richie James was running by himself on many routes. Not on that dig route. The safety's just running to the other side of the field while he cuts it back. I'm even those throws that he caught at the end of the game. That's how bad this defense was. So there was points there to be had. There was yards there to be had. That's the other part that's frustrating. Like if we were going up against a Pittsburgh defense with Nick Mullins and all these guys, it's like, okay, fine. The Packers defense is awful, and they couldn't even generate any sort of offense at all.
If there ever were a game to break out the training wheels offense with all the Jimmy Gimme throws, I call them Jimmy Gimmies. I mean, when Jimmy Garoppolo is in the game, Kyle Shanahan calls 15 Jimmy Gimmies a game where it's like a shovel pass or a screen or something really, really easy. If there were ever a game to have an approach like that, you're down to River Craycraft, Kevin White, Trent Taylor, and Richie James. You're down to no Kittle, no Mostert, no anyone, no Trent Williams, no Grasu. I mean, if ever there were a time to get the ball out of Nick Mullins' hands instantly, it was last night. And instead, it's like, hey, you got to throw downfield, Nick. You have to.
Grant probably didn't feel the need to either, because other than Richie James Jr., who else was really going to get that yak? I mean, McKinnon, but McKinnon didn't really look that explosive. I mean, that's one, maybe another detracting factor of why he didn't call it like that. But then again, you didn't really see that against the Eagles either. So, I mean, it's you really do need those gimme throws for a confidence builder. And also, I think just in general, it just keeps the defense off balance.
Okay, let's talk about it real quick. Why, you could start this, Grant. Why does Kyle Shanahan trust Nick Mullins more than Jimmy Garoppolo? Because you see, that's evident. You see Kyle Shanahan drop plays downfield more. Yesterday, the game opened up on 3 consecutive passes. The last time Mullins started against the Eagles, same situation, 3 consecutive passes. When Jimmy Garoppolo starts, he runs the ball on the first drive of the game. So why does Kyle Shanahan trust Nick Mullins more within his offense, at least to open it up and to where you're not having these Jimmy passes?
I don't interpret it as Kyle Shanahan trusting Nick Mullins more.
Yeah.
How could you trust Nick Mullins more? I mean, he's less experienced. He's less physically gifted. I almost look at it a little bit more negatively, like Kyle Shanahan protects Jimmy Garoppolo, and almost I don't know why he protects Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, it's a big investment. There's a lot of people who want him to protect Jimmy Garoppolo, the owner, the GM, the agent. There's just less incentive to protect Nick. They don't really seem to care. It's like, dude, Nick, if you get hit, sorry, buddy. CJ's waiting. If you stink, we're just gonna bench you. Like, they don't really care about his future. They don't really put the training wheels on Nick. I think it's more like they don't have any problem. They don't have any problem seeing him fail. They can't have Jimmy fail. It can't happen. It's for the entire sake of the franchise. They got to prop up Jimmy. No one cares about Nick Mullins like that. Nick, go get him, buddy. Go jump in the
Exactly. I'm right. I'm riding the coattails of Grant that way. Perfect. I don't think it's so much they trust Nick more. It's just like the same reason why they took forever for them to let Dante Pettis go by is the same reason why they had to make Jimmy look good so they can warrant draft capital given up, the money given up, all the time invested in him, the fact that they let his crush Kirk Cousins go away, even though that kind of in a way kind of saved him from himself. And so it's just they just really it's always about saving face. There's always an ego portion that people overlook. Even with brilliant, adaptable minds like Kyle Shanahan, there's always going to be a little bit of meathead stubbornness in these guys where it's just like, I just want to do it this way. I don't care. I don't care if this triangle doesn't fit into a circle. I don't care, whatever. I'm still going to make it work. So that's just my interpretation of it. It's just, you just can't, because all of a sudden it's going to be people like us like, what the hell was that idea? Are you serious? That's an indictment on your judgment as a scout of talent and of everything. But he's already a little bit, I feel like, exposing himself when you see like players like Richie James has been riding the bench and he just comes out there and plugs and play like easy. So at some point, his mask that he keeps on, that he sets a brilliant mind in terms of gauging talent, is going to come off.
See, that's the thing that scares me, right? So on top of, we obviously saw that Richie James is more than capable to take on whatever 15, 20 snap role that Trent Taylor has, right?
Yeah.
I want to go a little bit deeper when it comes to this. So the Nick Mullins thing, I'll answer real quick. I think it's because he thinks that Nick Mullins processes things faster than Jimmy Garoppolo does, right? And he gets through reads. So I guess that's why he feels more comfortable calling those. But you guys aren't off with just like, whatever, Nick. If nobody expects us to win this game anyway, so whatever. Go out there and do whatever, at this point. Yeah. But I want to take it a little bit deeper. On defense, where is Tarvarius Moore? I am sick of this. I don't
Year 3
understand.
On the team.
Why did you draft him with a 3rd-round pick if you're not going to use him and it's clear that the kid's a difference maker? Help me understand it.
Yeah. I can't.
So
my only thing I can think is that whatever the DB coach it was Hafley. Maybe Hafley was like, you got to take Tarvarius Moore. And then when Hafley leaves, Tarvarius Moore's main advocate in the organization is at Ohio State, and the new guy's like, yeah, it's not. I wouldn't have taken him.
Yeah,
that's how roster politics work. But
the
crazy thing is, he's like Richie James. When he's on the field, he makes plays, and then he can't get back on the field. It's like, look, man, I'm not a coach, but I can see it. We all saw Richie James as a playmaker. We all see Tarvarius Moore as a playmaker. When this guy finally gets on the field, the coach is going to be like, oh my God, what a surprise! I can't believe it.
Well,
I'd rather at least continue.
We can continue to talk about more, but this is my opinion right now. He's in year 3. His 49er tenure is done. It's done because he's in the contract year next year. You're not getting out of Jimmy Ward's contract next year. Just too much dead cap for this team to take on, and they love Jimmy Ward themselves. So he's going to go play somewhere else after next season because they don't trust putting Tarvarius Moore at strong safety, or they don't trust Jimmy Ward's health putting him at strong safety. So it's gonna be somebody else in there for Tar. It's not gonna be Moore, and it's not gonna be Ward. So Tarvarius Moore is what he's gonna be like is Micah Hyde with Buffalo. I'm gonna say it may be a little premature, but remember Micah Hyde could not get on the field in Green Bay. He goes to Buffalo, and now he's a Pro Bowl safety. I can see that happening with Tarvarius Moore because he's not getting on the field now. And he is a hell of a lot closer to the ball when it's in air than Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward gave up, like a 3rd and 15 yesterday on man coverage? Well, he did. I guess it came back. It was an inches play. They got the first down the very next play.
But he let Tyler Ervin, a running back, beat him, so that's not excusable.
That was bad. Like, he wasn't even near.
And Lou, you just made fun of a Mountain West player. That was a Mountain West player right there. Tyler Ervin went to
San Jose
State.
You know what else?
I love Mountain West. Come on.
One more thing about Ward, because you're dead on. You're dead on, Leo. You're dead on with how Jimmy Ward's been playing, and I've kind of chilled on. I've kind of chilled on, like, not criticizing him or anything like that. I want to tell you what really made me mad about Jimmy Ward last night. Did you guys see his IG story last night?
Did he say something about me?
Yeah.
No.
What did he say?
He's running film back on his IG story of the 2 plays that he covered DK Metcalf. Dude, nobody cares. Be better. Nobody
DK
cares.
was talking head to him. Was talking hella head to him.
I saw that.
Jimmy Ward, give him a fight. Cover somebody. And I was like, Grant.
Thank you.
Grant, DK's talking for you.
Thank you. To me, what Jimmy Ward creates the illusion of playing football. Jimmy Ward is floating through games. He'll make the tackle, but he's not making any impact. And it almost looks like I'm not in his head, but it almost looks like he's trying to keep himself healthy because he knows he has a history of not being out there. So I don't know. It looks like business decision city for him. He's just always a beat late. Oh, I almost made that play.
The worst part is, I think it's less about the play we can be objective about, right? Because that's not an opinion. If you're playing bad, you're playing bad. Damn PFF scores any of that, right? Yeah. Your mindset after a loss like that was to go on IG and post videos of the 2 plays that DK Metcalf didn't make a play on you.
From the other game. from the other game.
From
Yeah.
a week ago.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. This
Yeah.
mindset is awful. Like, and if he has it, then who else has it on
Well,
that
they
team?
all have it. I mean, Mike McGlinchey has it, right?
Yep.
Everyone's like, hey, I'm not as bad as you say I am. Dude,
Yes.
you are what your record says you are. Forget about the plays. You're 4-5. Everyone on the team is 4-5. That's what you are. Stop defending yourself. Just play better.
I just watched
Right?
Moneyball the other night, and it kind of reminds me of when in the part where they're all dancing after a loss, and Billy Bean goes in there and goes to town on a water cooler and the radio, and he says, "That's what losing sounded like. Now shut up." So that kind of reminds me of the Niners locker rooms when they lose. They're just playing music. It's whatever, we're just chilling and stuff like that. When really it's just they need that older figure that Grant's been harping about for like a month now, and he's on the money with it. That there's no accountability or leadership to just slap these guys up and be like, "Hey, what the hell was that? Let's get back into shape and actually do what we can do and play good. Stop acting all nonchalant about this."
The only leader they
after
have
that-
is Fred Warner. He's 23. Go ahead, Jason.
No, after a blowout loss on national television, that's
Yeah,
what you ran to do. Like, it's not even like DK Metcalf went on Twitter and was like, Jimmy Ward's a bum.
No.
Those are just things that you were talking about during the game. And those were cherry picked. For you to go back and run back the film on IG and try to show us something as if we got it wrong, that DK Metcalf didn't rip this whole team up. Come on, man. Like, just get your mind in the right place, bro.
And was he blaming teammates by association? Like, hey, it's not my fault on this play. It's not my fault.
He said he adds DK and he's like, oh, I told you I'm still here or whatever. I'm here. I'm angry.
No.
I'm here. I'm angry.
Yeah.
I'm here. Shut
He
it
said
all
that.
up already at this point.
He
You're
went
not here.
straight top
You're
murder.
one loss next week to the Saints to being done for the year. I'm tired of this team, man. I mean, their attitude and mindset this year was terrible. Terrible.
So
Grant,
and we all made fun of the Rams last year, but the Rams handled the Super Bowl hangover better than this team has.
what did
They are
Ward say
done.
about Grant though?
Did he? I don't think he said nothing. Did he?
No,
He didn't say nothing about Grant.
Someone said Grant.
I know,
doesn't
they
have
were
Instagram,
lying.
No. They just wanted
Yeah.
to see if it was true what he was saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, but the
got it,
season
got
is
it.
over though.
I think so.
Tico
too. I
says
think-
Ward just needs to let his play do the talking. That's the problem. He did. You never see him on the. You never see him.
He's a step
Never noticed-
slow. That's the issue.
a day late and a dollar short.
How about
That's
Eric
the-
Armstead?
that's-
though?
All
Well,
right,
he's
see,
not a
that's
dollar
the-
short now.
So, see,
Let's
that's
talk
what I
about
was gonna
Armstead.
bring
Go
up.
ahead.
Armstead's gonna make a sack and he's gonna go crazy on Grant. Like, he's gonna have a sack and he's just gonna go right to his bro. He's gonna run to the locker room and tweet Grant.
Any
like,
day now. When's
Yeah.
that sack going to come, Jason?
Um,
Any day now. When was the last time he had a sack?
It's not going to come against Ramczyk, though. I'll tell you that for sure. No, those
I mean,
motherfuckers-
well,
Brees gets the ball out pretty quick.
Yeah,
Good
and he'll
luck,
throw it
man.
at someone's. Yeah, he'll throw it at someone's feet too.
I
So
don't see it happening next
to
week.
avoid the
I
sack.
don't
No,
know. God.
you know what? Jordan Willis is a half a sack away from Eric Armstead.
Jordan, hey,
Armstead's
Jason,
at
correct me if
1.5.
I'm wrong.
Jordan Willis is at 1.
I think Jordan Willis has actually flashed the last couple of weeks, at least in comparison to who he's playing around. He looked.
That was
I
good.
thought he made a couple tackles against this. I don't know. He's all right.
no,
So
he's
what do
all
you-
right. I mean, look,
Right.
but it's sad, right? A
It's
guy,
sad. It's
a guy who we just brought on this roster immediately makes an impact in this game with a sack, and it's like Eric Armstead. The best we could say is he got close that time.
Yep.
Like,
Well,
I don't know, man.
Willis is better than Deion Jordan too.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah,
God.
he is.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he is.
It's so crazy how Deion Jordan had like 4 good plays in that Giants game, and then like
Yeah.
everybody forgot that he's just not good.
So
Dude, he's
Chris
always
Olsen
been
got
bad.
something out of him.
they're paying Armstead what $17 million per year, and what is D Ford at 18.5?
Yeah.
He's around there. So do the math: $35.5 million for essentially one position. Because you hear D Ford, he can't play in base. He has to go out there and pass in passing situations. And then Eric Armstead, the narrative on him is, well, he's better suited inside. He's not a pass rusher on the outside. So you're basically playing for $35.5 million for two guys that can't really be on the field in base, and the other one's not best suited in that position. $35.5 million
For 1.5 sacks. That's what they got
for
their investment.
1.5 sacks. $35.5 million.
I have no sympathy for Jed York. In fact, I laugh at him. But can you imagine what it must feel like when he's writing those checks this year? Kittle, Ford, Garoppolo, Armstead. Like, well, here's for nothing. Thanks, guys. Really, 2019 was fun, though. I appreciate it.
Did he
I'm
win?
talking
wonder.
about the average per year, not what he made this year. I'm talking about the average per year.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Well, either way,
once you crunch the numbers, it's still 17.
it's a lot of
Yeah.
checks on IR and or whatever. Sorry, Jay.
Yeah. So
Tell the team.
let's bring up the positive. Let's bring up the positive. Is Fred Warner the best
positive?
linebacker in football?
No.
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 I love Fred Warner, but
Not yet.
Bobby Wagner made a statement last week. Bobby Wagner last week had like 13 tackles, like a sack or two. I mean, I'm not going to take Bobby Wagner off it yet. Fred Warner's coming for him, but again, Fred Warner's 23 years old, and I like him in coverage, but he doesn't make those plays behind the line of scrimmage that like DeVar Bowman did. I love him. I would say maybe number 2. Bobby Wagner's game last week was legendary. He heard it and he was like, "Oh, word. Watch me take over this game." I loved it.
I mean, the person that I would say that Fred Warner's trying to catch is probably Levante David. Honestly,
He's-
like
yeah.
the guy that nobody's ever talked about in Tampa. Like
Put the David up.
But I will say this about Fred Warner, right? While I am of the opinion that he's probably the best because of his age and what we know is going to happen, right? But he was the only one who continued to play all game. Why is it that the guy who is the best on defense is the only one doing anything, and you guys are just like, oh yeah, maybe. Even Jason Verrett, even it was all over the field. Guys jogging, guys being slow. It's like, at what point do you follow your leader? If
They didn't want to be there. They didn't want to play.
He
I
is the
know.
leader. He is the leader. He showed it. He's the only one who took pride in that game. Now, I'm not saying Nick Mullins didn't take pride in that game. Nick Mullins got his brains beaten in. But on defense, the only guy who took pride in that game. Mosley showed heart. Verrett quit. The safeties were nowhere. Eric Armstead was going through the motions. Javon Kinlaw, I mean, I can't tell if he's – I mean, he couldn't make an impact if he's trying. He's big. And basically, he's big. That's what he's
Jaworski
trying.
Tart on that touchdown. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, you know that boot's coming out, that little leak's coming out. I don't like your own team runs that, or I don't.
Well, I love
coming.
the defensive strategy of don't cover Devontae Adams. Like, I love that idea. Like, that's perfect. I loved it.
Hey, Manuel Mosley covered him. He's just.
Well, that
great
was
throw,
one of
great
them.
catch.
What about the other ones where he just was running by himself? Like Verrett got beat on that double move. by
Oh,
Devontae
those are
Adams.
all on Verrett's. That was all on
Yeah.
Verrett. And personally, to me, I didn't think Verrett guarding Adams was the ideal. I always thought it was Mosley from the get. Even after, he gets that nice little pass breakup. And I'm sure some people are going to say, oh, look, he kind of grabbed him a little bit. But, I mean, Adams pushed off a little bit on his touchdown, and they still gave it to him. So let him play. I'm always about letting him play a little bit if it's like that. So Mosley
That's
played
what
him pretty strong. He played DK pretty strong. And, like, honestly, I hope his confidence doesn't dwindle, because the way he's been holding his own against two players that are massively better than him, he's done a strong job.
That was going to be what I was going to say, is that he's so mentally tough, right? He gets beat on the touchdown, and then that PBU was beautiful, man. Like, at the last moment, putting your hand up.
Played it great.
That's the sort of mental toughness that he needs to have, because people are going to go after him no matter what.
That Akello doesn't have.
No, right.
He needs more
No.
physical strength, though.
He needs to get
on the
bigger.
first one, he couldn't squeeze Devontae Adams to the sideline. You can't give him that much space because that makes the throw easier. And then on DK Metcalf, he was like bouncing off of DK. Now, a lot of people,
Yeah.
but he needs to put some weight on.
Yeah.
Some strength. I like him, though. I actually like him
No.
better than Verrett. What the hell was that from Verrett yesterday? Did he stop competing? What the hell was that?
He got
I feel
lucky
like
that
once he
Devontae Adams ran out of bounds because Verrett stopped running and just let Devontae's not
That's
a
what I
burner.
saw.
He's not DK Metcalf. You could catch up to him, and then it was just a lack of effort. Another one where Armstead lost contain and Rodgers ran for the first down. Jordan Willis, he came out of college running a 4.5. He's got some wheels. Rodgers is what at this point, like a 5.2. He just watched him. He didn't run after. There was only like a 10-yard difference when you watch the film, and
Who watched him? Who you
Jordan Willis. Jordan Willis.
Oh.
Jordan Willis watched. He ran a 4.5 coming. He's got wheels, and he just watched him go up the sideline for about 12 yards. I didn't understand that.
The only guy who
Javon
was chasing
Kinlaw
was
tried.
Yeah.
He tried. Willis watched. I didn't
Yeah.
understand that. He could have probably caught him.
One
Well,
more
I guess
thing
we're seeing
too.
why Jordan Willis bouncing around the league. What's up?
Right. One more thing too, right? So as far as the defense goes, did you guys forget how the 49ers actually got stops in this game? Drop passes on easy
Yeah.
first down, MVS.
Yeah.
Like, the defense never
Breaks.
stopped them. Like, it was if the fact that Marquez Valdez-Scantling can't catch a cold, even though he caught 2 touchdowns in this game, I don't want you guys to actually think that he's good. That first drop is Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Those 2 touchdowns, even Packers fans were like, oh my God, he caught it. He's hot hand Taylor, like that sort of thing. But those stops that the 49ers got were because the Packers made that happen. It wasn't because the 49ers did anything on defense. So that's even more concerning when you think about it, because relatively the defense was as healthy as it was going to get at this point, right? And to throw up that sort of effort, no pass rush again, nothing. And when you leave Aaron Rodgers with all that time, I don't know a defense that can stop Aaron Rodgers when he has all that time to go through all of his reads, man. Like, it's just like frustrating.
All you got to do with Aaron Rodgers is hit him in the first half a couple times.
That's it. And he'll quit. He'll fold up like the Bucs game.
Yeah. Yeah, like
But
the Niners games last week.
The blitzes weren't getting there, even when they called it. So. Nah, once you miss on those blitzes and you know like the defensive line's not getting there, you just knew it was a game that was expected to be. Aaron Rodgers was going to pick them apart. He was going to have all day.
Real quick, the way I saw it last night was, I could be wrong. I got to go back and watch the film, but I thought Robert Saleh came out in 2 safety high band coverage, thinking they weren't going to run the ball. Then the first 7 plays went to Aaron Jones. And finally, they got to bring the 8th man in the box. They go to cover 3, boom, touchdown. So what do you do? What do you do? That's where it's a nightmare to be a quarterback. Yeah.
How good was Jamar Taylor last night?
Oh, so good too.
I'm just.
You just had to throw that in there, didn't you, Leo? Like you had to.
Yeah.
No,
hey, on that 4th down play, he was on glue on Devontae Adams. That was just. He actually touched the ball on the 4th down, and Devontae still caught it.
Devontae's amazing. He's way better than I realized.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
He's a top.
If he could stay healthy, that's his knock. He only has 1 year over 1,000 yards.
And that's the thing. When the Niners played the Seahawks, I'm tired. When the Niners played the Packers twice last year, I think Adams had a high ankle sprain earlier in the season. And as we see, these things linger. Right now, he's way better than he was last year. I got to say he's the best wide receiver Aaron Rodgers has ever played with.
For sure. Yeah, and he wins. Yeah. He wins in different ways. It's not speed. He wins on release, and he wins at the end. And he has that rapport with Rodgers. The back shoulder throw. That's all him. Like that's all what that is. And he wins with release. And he's not a fast guy, but he's a big guy. He's definitely one of the best receivers in the league right now, for sure, hands down, man.
Yeah.
That's why on Wednesday or Tuesday when we had. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, finish yours. Statement.
Way bigger than Ayuk too. He's big.
No, he's big. I was just gonna say, like when we all talked about it on Wednesday about, hey, this is actually like a little bit of a better suited matchup in terms of Mosley. But when you put him on Verrett, that was the disrespectful route running, the clean releases I was talking about, because his double moves are filthy. His head nod, the way he plants, the way he knows how to just work his magic on those routes, the top of it, just to get the corner. He psyched out both Marcel Harris and Jason Verrett. Both of them. You're only supposed to psych out one of them, not both. That's insane. And he just can't. He should have scored a touchdown on that. Both of them. Both of them.
That route reminded me of myself in high school.
Shut up.
But that probably would have been me if it wasn't for my knees. All right. So I think this is a good question for Grant here. Is who's better, Todd Bowles or Robert Saleh?
I would have to say Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is more experienced. He's had a lot of top 5 defenses. He's been a head coach. I love Robert Saleh, but Robert Saleh is still improving. Todd Bowles, I think, is kind of like at the top of his game. I mean, he's like
Todd Bowles right now has a better personnel on defense though right now, because that front 7 was already legit.
He was great last year too.
Yeah, and now you're adding Carlton Davis, who's really good and coming into his own, and you're adding Antoine Winfield and all these guys in the secondary. Like that helps a lot.
No doubt. Nothing against Robert Saleh. I just think Todd Bowles has been elite for like a decade. And people kind of forgot because he was the head coach of the Jets. He
had those defense always repping.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going with Todd Bowles as well. It's I need to see more from Robert Saleh. As far as like mixing up the coverage, it's kind of too easy when you're playing against these elite quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, as far as when you don't have a pass rush. When you don't have a pass rush, it is way too easy for them to figure out and know what defense you're playing in. They just tear them up every time, especially with the number 1 wide receiver. That's something you need to figure out, is how to take away a number 1 wide receiver. I think you said it, Grant, is like running like a high-low scheme, maybe in a cover 2, something like that.
Well, the best way to take away a great wide receiver is to have a great cornerback. And the thing about Todd Bowles is he had Patrick Peterson in Arizona, and right now they have who the guy got Carlton Davis and
Sean Murphy Bunting.
They have guys who can match up man to man with good wide receivers, big, fast, strong. I mean, Robert Saleh hasn't had that yet. I'd like to see what he could do with like a solid.
Brett and Mosley, they're not bad. They're not bad.
I'm saying like
they're both quality starters.
They are, but I'm talking like guys who can actually match up with elite wide receivers and hold their own. Like a guy that you can just say, hey, well, you got DeAndre Hopkins. Well, great. I have Jalen Ramsey. Let's go to work. He's never had that. I mean, he had Richard Sherman. He had old Richard Sherman, which was good. But I'd like to see Robert Saleh with what Todd Bowles has. I mean, it's really nice to have a shutdown corner.
Three games come to mind when we talk about wide receivers. Number one, DeAndre Hopkins in week 1, Julio Jones last year, and now this week again with Devontae Adams, right?
How about DK Metcalf?
DK Metcalf as well, too. Cool. Like, it's like, dude, number one receivers chew this team up when you have no sort of pass rush. That's it, man. Like,
and guess what, Jason?
And
they got Michael Thomas and Stephon Diggs down the road.
Serviceable.
Yeah, Michael Thomas is probably playing this week, and so is Emmanuel Sanders as well, too. So, Godspeed, guys. You're going to have to cover a lot of turf.
Akello Witherspoon is the highest pick they've spent on a cornerback since like 2002, something like that.
Can't wait to see him flourish in Cleveland.
Well, since we're talking about corners, since we're talking about corners, I just want to throw this out there. Everyone wants to say that Jimmy Garoppolo, if he leaves 49ers, is kind of suited for New England since they have no quarterback, right? And he still calls Bill Belichick coach and calls Shanahan Kyle. Okay.
He does. That was a tale and a half. I gotta say, that was like a guy at the poker table being like, "Oh yeah,
yeah." And it seems like New England wants to get off of Stephon Gilmore. It seems that way. Put his house on the market. Just reading in between the lines. Would you be opposed of the 49ers swapping Garoppolo for Gilmore?
He said
since we're talking about corners.
I would not be opposed. Hell no.
No, I mean that has to
Gilmore has a high contract, by the way. He's going to make a lot next year.
Yeah, but that's fine. You're talking about you're not talking about a corner who might have been good. You're talking about the defensive player of the year, right? And I've only seen on film one or two people beat him. You know, Devontae Parker in week 17 had an amazing game against him. I watched John Brown, make some.
George Kittle beat him.
George Kittle beat him, but the only thing that he really struggles with is corner routes. That's where DK beat him in the Seattle game as well. Like, if it's a 7 or if it's an 8 route, then he has issues with that. But straight line routes and comebacks and all that, Gilmore's got that covered, like, completely. So, like, I'm not opposed to that at all because Stephon Gilmore gives you what we thought we had for a few weeks with Verrett, somebody who can lock down the entire side of the field.
Are the Niners going to get trade compensation for Jimmy Garoppolo in the sense that does anyone want him on that contract? That's a lot of money.
Well, I could see if they're swapped, they're going to have to pay Gilmore $17 million next year. Garoppolo's at 26.9, so that's about a $9 million that New England would have to take on. Probably $7 million actually, because the 49ers I would imagine have to take on 2. And then so you're talking about $7 million. If the 49ers throw in they have 3/5. If they throw in an extra 5th in there and maybe like a future 5th as well. I think New England might be intrigued.
There's another team that I think might want Jimmy Garoppolo. The Bears.
Yep. Homecoming. Roll out the red carpet for Illinois, boy. Yep. Bring him right back.
They got nothing at quarterback. They're going to get rid of Trubisky. Nick Foles isn't a long-term answer. He might want to go back there. Again.
Nagy's out too. Pace will probably be out. It's going to be a whole new regime that's coming in. It's going to be in and out. Yeah, I don't know, man. He better be out.
I don't think
maybe we'll Robert Saleh up there. Maybe Saleh and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Pace probably because he's the one who wanted Mitch Trubisky in the first place.
Yeah, and he did a piss poor job constructing this roster over the offseason. No. So you went into this offseason and said, we need offensive line. Let's sign 7 tight ends. Get him out of here. Get him out of here, bro.
I don't think the reason why they're gonna fire Nagy is because they haven't given him his own quarterback. He had to deal with the quarterback that Pace gave him and said, like, all right, let me turn this little Volkswagen, this little bucket into something that he's not. And he did it for a season.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Let him mess that up.
Yeah, give him a nice little Honda Civic with Garoppolo.
Allen Robinson better get ready because he's not gonna. He better be the first read on all those throws at this point. I don't want to bash Jimmy though. Let's not talk.
I'm not bashing Jimmy. The problem is, I hope he doesn't go to Chicago because that's where quarterbacks go to die. They just have no clue what to do with quarterbacks and never really have. Never. It's terrible.
So you're saying Rex Grossman wasn't a good quarterback?
No, I'm saying
he took his team to the Super Bowl like Jimmy did.
He led his team.
It's a defensive franchise. They have no idea how how to grow a quarterback, how to
That's why Robert Saleh's perfect for them. They want defense. Give him Khalil Mack, his Nick Bosa, and a great. He'll be great there. I think he would.
And they still have great defensive players. They still have if their offense could score like 24 points a game, they could be a problem.
But they have a pretty good record, though. Are they going to fire? What's their record?
They're 5-3.
That ain't that good.
But they're not competing against like the good teams. They struggle. They're bad.
And 5-3, 5-3 isn't equal across the board. That's a 5-3 team that's not 5-3 at all. Like they shouldn't be. They're that bad. Like honestly. And then you hear Nick Foles saying, "Oh, when Nagy calls plays, I know they're not going to work because I don't have time back here." He said that out of his mouth. Brian Griese repeated it on Monday Night Football, and then Nagy had to come out and say, "Oh, I don't know. Well, we have to talk about that." Yep. It's a mess over there. That's the Bears, But yeah, I could definitely see Jimmy going back there. Honestly,
the Bears.
Yeah. The Bears.
We would be. We got to mention Dante Pettis. Shout out Dante Pettis. He looks happy doing TikToks.
Keep it down. He's staying with me here in Jersey. He's sleeping on the couch right now. Keep it down. We can't really be talking too loud.
That TikTok was embarrassing.
Oh my God, man!
Weird.
I saw someone put. Okay, he posted a video of himself doing a TikTok, and he has never once put himself a video working out, running routes in the off season. Not one.
I think there's got to be something to it. He always makes fun of it, like, dude, you clearly he works out, but he doesn't seem to take any pride in it.
No, like
he
was there when you see Kendrick Bourne when they're together. They post the videos. What's Dante Pettis doing? He's playing corner. He's not running routes. He was playing corner in a lot of those videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like honestly, I think that it needed to happen, right? It needed to happen on both sides. He needed to go. He tried, like I said, when we talked last week, I said that Pettis tried to go out on his shield. He did. He tried to end it all right there, like with his last touch. He tried to end it all. He was just
really
like,
that was terrible.
He was like, for freedom, and
he did a swan dive into tacklers.
So he desperately wanted to go, right? And I'm eager to see what he's going to look like in that amazing offense that the Giants are running with Daniel Jones at this point. Now, does he have a chance to play this week? Rumors are that Golden Tate's not going to be playing this week because his wife went crazy on Instagram, yelling at the Giants, saying that he's open and not throwing in the ball. So Pettis might be pushed into duty sooner than later. No, it's true. It is. Joe Judge, all he wants to do is run laps and take football back to the 1920s. So he definitely doesn't care about your Instagram and your wife and talking crazy about the team and all that stuff. Like all those Belichick guys want to be Belichick, but it never comes across the right way like Belichick does it. Like Patricia, like any of those guys, nobody ever respects it the same way that Bill does it. So Pettis is going to be pushed into duty sooner than later, honestly. So we'll see pretty quickly what he's got, if he has anything.
I'm curious because honestly, in training camp, he had days and he never got a chance this year. They put him at training. They put him at kick returner. I'm curious.
Answer that question then. Who wins?
Pettis.
Oh, Pettis.
We've seen
Pettis is an amazing route runner. Like
he's really good one-on-one.
He's a great route runner. Like I don't want anybody. Like listen, you can say whatever you want about the kid. Maybe he is soft. Maybe he's this. Maybe he's that. Maybe he's not tapped in. He is a kid. I mean, I'm what 14 years older than him. He's a fucking kid. But yeah, but he can definitely run routes, guys. Just because he's not a fit here and not because he's mentally tough and he's checked out doesn't mean that somewhere else they won't unlock it. The kid can play, but football is 90% this and 10% talent, and that's the problem. Sorry,
you gotta really want to play football unless you're
not 50% that.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's legendary. That's legendary.
Man.
It is.
I gotta write an article
Twitter.
for Grant, otherwise he's gonna fire.
Yeah, we gotta go do stuff for all 49ers.
All right.
This is fun though. Appreciate it, Leo.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you.
Later, guys.